Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. DTC P2176 is related to the throttle actuator control system and indicates that the idle position has not been learned by the system. This is a critical fault that can affect engine performance, particularly during idle conditions. The throttle actuator is responsible for regulating the air intake to the engine, ensuring smooth operation under various conditions. In the Honda Odyssey from 2011 to 2017, the throttle body houses the throttle valve, which is located in the intake manifold area. It is essential to approach troubleshooting this code methodically, given that it can impact drivability and fuel economy. Users must also take precautions when handling the throttle body, as the valve can move unexpectedly, leading to serious injury. Always start by reviewing the diagnostic data, including freeze frame data, and examining other related codes. The DTC P2176 refers specifically to a malfunction in the throttle actuator control system, where the idle position of the throttle has not been learned by the engine control unit, ECU. The throttle actuator is a mechanism within the throttle body that controls the airflow to the engine, thereby influencing engine speed and performance. If the idle position is not correctly set, it can lead to stalling, rough idling, or poor acceleration. The throttle body itself is typically located near the intake manifold, and it should be accessible with proper tools. It is crucial for the throttle actuator to work in harmony with the powertrain control module, PCM, which interprets the signals from various sensors to adjust the throttle position. Recognizing the symptoms caused by this error is key to resolving the underlying issue effectively. When diagnosing DTC P2176, several potential causes must be considered. A faulty throttle body can fail to relay the correct position to the PCM, leading to the inability to learn the idle position. Often, this can be compounded by poor electrical connections or loose terminals at the throttle body and PCM, which may cause intermittent failures. The condition of the throttle valve is also crucial. A dirty or obstructed throttle valve can prevent it from closing completely. Additionally, if the PCM itself is malfunctioning or not interpreting input signals properly, this can contribute to the error code as well. Therefore, a thorough investigation of all these components is essential for effective troubleshooting. The symptoms associated with DTC P2176 can manifest in several ways, and recognizing them early is essential for maintaining vehicle performance. A rough idle may be felt while the vehicle is at a stop, indicating that the engine is struggling to maintain the correct RPM due to throttle control issues. Stalling can occur when the control system cannot properly manage engine functions, leading to unexpected engine shutdowns. Drivers might also notice poor throttle response, where the vehicle does not accelerate as it should when the gas pedal is pressed. Typically, the check engine light will illuminate on the dashboard, alerting the driver to potential issues. Not only do these symptoms affect drivability, but they can also lead to major concerns if left unresolved. The first step in troubleshooting DTC P2176 involves turning the ignition switch to the on/to position without cranking the engine. This action enables the onboard diagnostic system to activate, thus allowing the technician to access real-time data and stored error codes. It is crucial to record all freeze frame data and any onboard snapshot, since this information can provide context for the fault, such as conditions leading up to the error. Reviewing general troubleshooting information is also beneficial, as it may include insight into common fixes and potential pitfalls when addressing this specific DTC. Taking these initial steps ensures that the technician has all necessary data to proceed efficiently with further diagnostics. In this step, you will clear the DTC using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS. The HDS is a specialized tool designed for Honda vehicles that allows for in-depth diagnostics and system resets. Clearing the DTC is important as it resets the onboard diagnostic system, which helps determine if the error is persistent or an intermittent issue. After clearing the code, the technician may also check for any pending or confirmed DTCs, which will help in proceeding with further troubleshooting or repairs. If the issue reappears after clearing, it indicates a more systemic problem that needs attention, whereas a lack of reoccurrence could suggest it was a temporary fault. Following the clearing of the DTC, turn the ignition switch to the lock 0 position. This action is essential to ensure that the vehicle's electronics have completely reset. After turning to lock, it's important to wait a short duration before proceeding to the next step. This gives the vehicle's systems time to refresh and stabilize. Ensuring accurate sequencing in the troubleshooting process is critical for effective diagnosis. Skipping steps can lead to invalid conclusions, especially in systems that rely on electronic signals and calibration, as is the case with the throttle actuator control system. Once again, turn the ignition switch to the on position after waiting for a few moments. This step activates the diagnostic systems once more, allowing for the next phase of checks. It is vital to wait for at least 10 seconds in this position to ensure that the throttle actuator and other components have sufficient time to initialize properly. Proper system initialization is critical for the output data to be valid. During this time, the internal sensors and systems begin their calibration, setting the stage for accurately identifying any faults that may still exist. After this waiting period, the technician will be poised to check for pending or confirmed DTCs that may reappear during this initialization phase. At this juncture, use the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, to check for any pending or confirmed DTCs. This step is vital in assessing whether DTC P2176 is present after resetting and allowing for the system's initialization. If the DTC is indicated, it means that the problem persists and further investigation is warranted. Conversely, if it is not present, it suggests that the issue may have been intermittent, but technicians should proceed to inspect the throttle body for loose connections or corrosion. Following the codes obtained from HDS enables a targeted approach to repair, efficiently leading to potential fixes without unnecessary substitutions or repairs. Once determined that DTC P2176 persists, turn the ignition switch to the lock 0 position again. This step marks a transition, preparing for further examination of the vehicle's throttle system. Returning the ignition to lock allows the technician to safely handle components without the risk of accidental activation of the throttle. Proper handling is vital due to the high sensitivity of the throttle actuator's mechanism. Accidental engagement could result in injury or further issues. Following this lock step, the technician should disconnect the intake air duct to gain access to the throttle body for deeper diagnostics. In this step, the intake air duct is disconnected from the throttle body. This operation requires attention to detail, as ensuring no debris enters the throttle body during this process is crucial. Accessing the throttle body allows technicians to visually inspect its condition and functionality. Any blockage can significantly affect the performance of the throttle actuator system. Once the duct is removed, the technician should be able to clearly see the throttle valve, preparing the way for further tests that will confirm its operational status. Proper diagnosis at this level can prevent costly repairs by revealing issues before they escalate. After disconnecting the intake air duct, the ignition switch is turned back to the on-second position. This activation step enables all electrical components tied to the throttle actuator system to power up and enter diagnostic mode. It is essential to ensure that the throttle actuator is responsive at this stage. The system will run self-diagnostics, and subsequent checks will gauge the performance of the throttle body while monitoring the throttle valve for proper operation. This step is vital in determining if the throttle valve can move to its designated positions, thus validating all earlier diagnostics. This action serves to set the context for the next crucial steps in the troubleshooting procedure. In this troubleshooting step, the technician will clear the DTC once again using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS. Resetting the DTC is crucial as it allows the system to reevaluate its performance following all preliminary steps taken thus far. Clearing the code prepares the vehicle to relearn the throttle actuator's idle position. In essence, it resets the memory that the system uses to ensure the throttle valve operates as required. Following this action, the technician should pay attention to any changes in the DTC status, as a persistent code will indicate underlying problems that may require further investigation. This step helps refine the focus towards resolving the code effectively. Using the HDS, the technician should now conduct an ETCS, Electronic Throttle Control System, test to visually inspect the throttle valve operation. This test is essential for assessing whether the throttle valve can move seamlessly to its fully closed position as it should. Monitoring the valve's movement helps to ensure that there is no obstruction and that the actuator system is functioning correctly. Observing the throttle valve's operation in real time provides insight into whether the issue resides in the actuator or another component within the throttle body assembly. Accurate readings from the ETCS test can assist technicians in proceeding with an informed approach, pinpointing further diagnostic steps based on the results observed. At this stage, a visual inspection of the throttle valve for any sludge or carbon buildup is warranted. The presence of sludge or carbon can inhibit the throttle valve's motion, leading to issues associated with DTC P2176. The technician should examine the surface of the throttle valve carefully, since even a small obstruction can lead to major performance problems. If contaminants are found, the throttle body will require cleaning to restore functionality. Proper cleaning can often resolve issues related to throttle response and idle stability. Once cleaned, the systems should be re-evaluated to ensure optimal operation and eliminate any fault codes related to the actuator control system. If the throttle valve appears clean and operational, disconnect the throttle body 6P connector once the ignition switch is turned to the lock 0 position. This step allows for further electronic diagnostics by isolating the throttle body unit from the system. Understanding the electrical readings from the throttle body is crucial, as it can uncover faults within the wiring, connectors, or the throttle actuator itself. The disconnection of the throttle body will enable the technician to perform further tests and checks without interference from the PCM or other components, allowing for an accurate assessment. After completing all necessary repairs and adjustments, the technician should clear the DTC one final time to assess whether the issue has been resolved. Following this, a test drive is essential to place the vehicle under conditions similar to normal operation. During this process, it's important to monitor the vehicle's behavior, particularly the performance of the throttle and engine idle. The technician should remain vigilant for any signs of issues such as stalling or irregular throttle response. Should the DTC reappear, further diagnostics may be warranted to uncover any underlying issues that may not have been resolved during the initial troubleshooting process. To prevent the recurrence of issues associated with DTC P2176, it's vital to incorporate regular maintenance practices. Cleaning the throttle body periodically can help ensure that it remains free from sludge and carbon buildup, which can affect its performance. Additionally, routinely inspecting electrical connections for corrosion or looseness can mitigate potential faults over time. It's also important for vehicle owners to be aware of any abnormal symptoms while driving, including changes in engine response or other performance issues. Addressing these signs early can prevent more complex issues down the line, helping to maintain vehicle reliability and performance across its lifespan. In summary, DTC P2176 indicates that the throttle actuator control system has not learned the idle position, which can significantly impact vehicle performance. Following a systematic troubleshooting approach allows technicians to diagnose and resolve the issue effectively. Key steps include observing diagnostic data, checking connections, and inspecting mechanical components like the throttle body. Preventive maintenance, such as cleaning and routine inspections, plays a critical role in mitigating future issues related to the throttle control system. Keeping a close eye on symptoms and vehicle performance can lead to early detection of potential problems, ensuring the Honda Odyssey remains reliable and efficient. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.